Welcome to the 6th episode of Coffee Around the Globe. Usually we have this once every 2 weeks, but this week, since it is New Jersey's basketball camp week, right? Which is always an amazing time in the summer. Even though we're not there physically, we're there virtually. So, we can't have a summer without a New Jersey's basketball camp. So, I say that and start there to let everyone know that we are still having camps. So, praise God for that. But, like I said, this is Coffee Around the Globe. This is where I, Andrew Cummings, the host, get to have an interview, a basketball discussion about basketball, faith, and the journey, the life that the person I'm going to be interviewing. So I'm really excited for today. I'm really excited about the person who I am going to be having the opportunity to have a basketball discussion. So thanks for everyone tuning in. I'm really glad to see a lot of people, a lot of viewers tuning in and seeing this. And I'm really excited to have this discussion with the person who is Rico Hall. So some of you may know him. He's been on tours in the past with us. Tour director, player, coach, mentor, personal great friend of mine. And so I'm really excited because he's going to be able to share a little bit about his experience of traveling in Asia, Europe, and also playing coaching in the States. So I'm really excited to get him on call to have this opportunity for everyone to hear a little bit more about him. So to this call, and we'll get him on the screen and everyone can see. There he is right there.
What's up? What's up?
Himself, Rico Hall. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm enjoying my tea, freshly brewed. So.
Let me adjust this volume here. But awesome. I'm glad that you have tea. To everyone, I have the coffee, so Coffee Around the Globe is still an actual thing. But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on this call. I appreciate you taking the time. Busy day. Today's been a busy day. I know that just from talking to you. But yeah, introduce yourself. Let the viewers know a little bit more about who you are,
Okay.
your age, your basketball experience, where basketball's taking you.
Okay, cool. Well, like you guys know me, Andrew told you, I'm Rico. I've been doing basketball for a long time, and God has just given me health. So I'm thankful for that, to be able to keep going. But I was playing since I was small. Had the chance to play at college, played a Division II school here in South Carolina. I'm in South Carolina now. And then after college, I had an opportunity to go with my coach. I was a graduate assistant for a women's basketball program. And so that was my first go at coaching, was Division III women's basketball. And while I was up there, we were playing pickup one day, and I got introduced to some guys who were like, "Hey, man, you should keep going playing basketball. You're pretty good." And I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, I don't really know too much about, how to get it started, but I'm healthy. I'm able to play. Let me go. So I actually got hooked up with Athletes in Action. They're like a basketball organization, and they have several different tiers. And so I did a lot of work with them for a number of years. One of the most exciting things that I did with them, like to start out with, was we did these things called Fall Tour, where there's these guys from all over the country that come, Division I players, and we have a training camp in Raleigh. And so we're there for 2.5 months, and we play exhibition games against all these colleges in North South Carolina and I think Georgia. And so we go and we played all these games, but we had a training camp first, and we played games. We worked with teams and stuff like that. And then after that experience was over, guys went different ways. So a lot of people went to play in Australia. We had a couple guys go to the back then it was the D League, now it's the G League. A couple guys go there, and a couple guys go to Israel, and I had the chance to go to Central Asia. That was my first stop. So that opportunity led to playing and helping develop schools, academies in Central Asia, in Palestine/Israel, and also did some stuff with them in South America and the Caribbean islands. So a lot of basketball, a lot of basketball, a lot of high level basketball, and then there was some in between stuff too. So it was a great experience, and the last couple of years I've just been with NRB, so I'm just having fun with them guys and playing and coaching in camps. So
Okay, awesome, man. It must have been been a blessing for sure, being able
Mm-hmm.
to be in those places in Asia, but also places in Europe. Let's talk about culture for a second, right? Where was the place that you were able to fit in, or could you say you fit in? It's hard, right? I know what you mean. It's yeah. Tell us what your favorite culture place was, or different place.
Okay, so when I wrote this stuff down. This is tough because I don't want to leave anybody out. I absolutely loved every single place I was at. Everybody had something special.
Mm.
But if I have to be honest, my favorite, this is gonna be tough. It's a tie between Central Asia, which is Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and in Europe, because I love Germany. I'm sorry, man. Like Germany, they treat you well. I love being over there. I loved everything about it. But Central Asia was just like, that's like a second home to me. And so it was the hugest culture shock being over there first, because I was like, I'm a black guy. So most of them have never seen any other people of, my skin color, period. So here I am, this black guy in this country. But I mean, it's the nicest, most welcoming country that I could have ever been in. And then they really have high level basketball because it's former USSR, so it's heavy Russian influence.
Oh, that's tough right there. That's
tough basketball. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. Like I was like, whoa, this is some good stuff over here. Okay. And I would say the country that I fit in the most was the Caribbean. Probably because everything is just chill, go with the flow. I'm a chill, go with the flow person. Right. So. Yeah, so that was that.
Okay. Well, do you have like maybe a funny story or a funny language story, trying to pick up the language, embarrassing story, I gotta ask you that. I can't get you out of this call without embarrassing yourself a little bit.
I got a ton of embarrassing stories. I got some. I remember I got probably the most embarrassing story is when I got stranded in Amsterdam trying to get to Central Asia. Yeah, man, it was crazy. So I didn't realize the time switched to 24-hour time zone and coming from the airport. And so I sat down on the couch just thinking like, oh yeah, I got all day. I got like 3-4 hours. I was looking at my clock. I was like, I'm perfect. I leave at 3 o'clock, not realizing that it was like 1300, which was 1 o'clock. And so I sit on the chair and they have like this nice lounge over there and I fall asleep. And so I wake up and I'm like, time for my flight. I go get something to drink, get ready, get to the gate, empty. No one's there. So I'm wandering around the airport like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm supposed to get over Central Asia. They're like, yeah, your flight left 2 hours ago. I'm like, what? And so my face just drops and I'm like, okay, well, when can I get out of here? When they're like, the next flight over there is 3 days from now. So
oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was crazy. Luckily, I did speak it was Dutch. They were speaking some Dutch. So it was Dutch and English. So I was able to navigate my way around for 3 days. It was a crazy, crazy experience. But that was probably, looking back, the funniest experience. Because I was like, who falls asleep? None check their time. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I've gotten close to that happening before to me, but I've never missed it. Wood. Where's some wood? I don't know. But yeah, I guess going back to basketball, you said there was some good competition, especially from the USSR, the olden days, right? What country would you say was the hardest playing, as in like playing white? Sure. The country that had the most talent, let's say that.
The country that had the most talent, there's two. The most talent was the Caribbean. Everyone is extremely fast. You cannot stay in front of anybody, and everything is it's fast. I mean, games are going to be like in the hundreds, 10, 120, but it's not like people are shooting threes. People are just running past you. So I've never seen speed. America, you have a lot of stuff in America. You have quickness and power and stuff and agility, but guys down there are just extremely fast. And so you're just like trying to keep up, and the game is fast. The most skill was Central Asia. Okay. It was the hardest to play. The rules are different. There's a lot of holding and hand checking. So if you're off the ball, you can be held. That was the hardest thing for me. I think I put on like 10 pounds of muscle just because I was tired of getting beat up. And I would come out and I would have scratches. And So, you know, you run underneath, you get picked, you're going to get hit like hard. So you're coming off screens. The games are, you're going to get about 75, 80 points a game. They run a lot of sets, but they're extremely smart. They play fast. They play, it's an old USSR style of play. And so I would say that was the most challenging because you have to think a lot and you have to try to strategize, and it's extremely physical, most physical that I've ever played. And so that was tough.
About the youth, what country do you think was the most talent youth-wise? I mean, you know, sometimes there's countries that's really good youth, but their mid teams are not very good, you know? It's a little mixture, but what do you think?
I would say Germany. I would say Europe.
Oh,
I
wow.
think that Europe does a really good job of building their youth. Just from when I went over there, just from doing the camps with NRB the last couple of years, there's a couple of guys that even been on camp. I'm seeing their skill go up, and the way that they play through a club. With them having all these things and stuff like that, I know you were over there working with the youth. I just see that as being one of the, you know, the top places that I've seen the youth develop.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What about, you know, for future Americans that are wanting to play overseas national, what advice do you have for them? I mean, now that you've had a lot of years, you know, playing, coaching, and figuring out how to, you know, work the system, you know, visa and all that stuff, but just mindset. Like, is there any advice you can have for those players that are wanting to go overseas and play and coach, hopefully one day?
Yeah, I would say, number one, develop a sense of humility. I think one of the biggest things that we do as Americans, and I did it too, is we go over to these different countries thinking that we're so much better. And basketball is so good now around the country. I was having a conversation with one of our players here in the States. I was like, it's all about humility. You're going there to add value to a team. So I would say, how can you add value to a team? It's not always about scoring 40, but can you rebound? Are you a good teammate? Are you a good person? Because a lot of times you're going over to these countries and these people are welcoming you into their communities, into their homes. And so can you be a good person? Can you be a good teammate? Do you fit well within everyone else? Can you move the ball? Can you play defense? Can you learn really fast? And so I would say develop those tangible skills now and just decide on what you want to do. So if that's what you want to do is further your basketball career, then go ahead and get serious about it and start putting in the work. Daily discipline, doing the work and things like that, and then making yourself marketable so that when you go over there, you have a skill. I can teach, I can coach the youth while I'm here. I can help out at a school while I'm here, kind of just making yourself available to do other things, because you're going to spend a good bit of time doing basketball, but you still have, like, you know, you have a whole half a day where you're just there. And so, you may be making some money, but most of the times you're going to have to find a way to fill your time. And the best way to do it is by being well-rounded. And so I would say having a humble attitude, working on your intangibles, working on your skill set, developing one, and adding value to yourself. And so that when you know you go over there, you're bringing your basketball ability, but also you can do this so that you can have a more of a career versus just, oh, I went over there one time and now I'm back home and I'm trying to get back. And I think that happens to a lot of guys because they're just not ready for the experience. So.
Yeah, that's good. I would even like to add on with that. There is this coach that is also works for News Release, Michael May. He said one time to a bunch of us players that we just got done playing a team, playing as a pro team, and we were like, man, we're better than like this player, and this player. Which, you know, they had the right to say that because they honestly were. But the problem with that is that you're not trying to tell yourself, hey, or not trying to say you're better than that player, because those players that they mentioned were actually were actually German, the players that were actually on the team. What you have to say is, am I better than that American that you played against? Because like you said, you have to bring value to the team. They're not just going to have to want to sign you because you're better than that country's nationality person, right? You're going to have to be better than that import, because that's what they're paying you. They're paying you to be better than those players, or they wouldn't be paying anyone at all. They would just go get their fellow person down in the next neighborhood, right? And
Exactly.
so you have value, which I think sometimes we forget about.
Yeah.
but that makes it even that much more difficult. But like you said, all these countries, they're developing more and more their youth, and then in the men's team, and even with women's sports too, it's becoming big over there as well. So, talking about culture, talking about basketball, a big thing for you, you kind of already mentioned, working with AIA and also with NRB, is your faith. The biggest reason why you do a lot of traveling, a lot of camps, is because of your faith. But when someone says that, I mean, you can mean a lot of different things. How do you use faith in basketball combined? A lot of people may say, faith is a different box than basketball or sports. Share with us, what is faith in basketball to you? How do you use faith in basketball? Yeah, share us a little bit.
So faith in basketball, that was an interesting journey for me, because I was always taught, I had it in a box. I had it like, this was my faith and this was my, basketball time, or this was my faith and this was my me time. Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time to learn it. And it took me just kind of being with other people and kind of like growing in my faith and learning, and until I was able to understand that, like, all the abilities I have were given to me. Like, there's nothing that I brought into this world. I'm not taking anything out of this world with me. And so I think starting there and understanding that, like, if God gave you these abilities, he wants you to use them, to the best of your abilities, to glorify him. And I was like, okay, well, those words seem really like glorify, and I don't know how to do all that stuff.
I'm trying to get buckets.
Yeah. And so that's what it came down to. It was like, okay, since that word is a little too, Christianese or whatever for you, because it was for me, you got to think about it this way. If you're going to do something, if you're going to go out and work in the yard all day, just like cutting your grass or doing something, you're going to want to go out there and give it your best. You're not going to go out there and cut half of your lawn and half of your hedges, and just because I'm like, oh yeah, I did a good job of it. No, you're going to go out there, you're going to finish it up, you're going to do a good job, you're going to bag everything up. And if you don't have any skill, you're going to pay somebody to do it for you and say, hey, it looks good, and take credit for it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what that looked like for me was giving everything you have while you're out there. So as a teammate, give your teammate the best attitude you can give them. While you're on the floor, if you only have 2 good minutes, give 2 good minutes. If you have opportunities to shoot with confidence. If you have opportunities to dribble with confidence. Winning is always the goal, but it's not the priority. It's about, how are you trying to go about winning? How are you trying to maximize your value? Like, if you're going to be an athlete, give it everything that you have, because everybody has different ceilings. And that's why I think faith has helped me to just not compare myself with anybody, because God's given me my own set of abilities and my own set of talents, and it's not going to look like anybody else's. So for me to rank myself and do all these other things and say, hey, I'm not doing what he's doing, or I didn't sign this big contract, or I'm not in this league or that league, it's kind of fool's gold, because everybody is given their ability. And so you take what God has given you and you maximize that, because at the end of the day, he's not going to say, hey, Rico, you weren't like Kobe, or you weren't like this guy, or Ginobili or LeBron, because you're not. He's going to say, what did you do with what I gave you? Oh. And if you are like, hey man, I was a really good shooter, but I wasn't good at that, but I gave it my all. Good job for you. You're going to get rewarded for that. But if you're trying to be somebody you're not, and you're constantly comparing yourself with someone, that's gonna really mess you up. And I think faith has taught me that, and just kind of weaving that through, like, God just wants the best for me. He gave his life so that I can have these abilities, and it goes beyond sport. And whatever you're doing in life, give what you have for that day. Every day is going to look different. Some days you have to some days the best you have is a B game. So bring your best B game or your best C game, and that'll be enough. And so I would say that my faith has kind of taught me that.
Yeah, man, that's good words for sure. I know a couple people have already commented good stuff too. Appreciate y'all watching in on this as well. Rico has some good life lessons he's been able to share with us right now. And so, I mean, that's great that you're able to understand how faith interacts with you, and also in basketball, but also outside of basketball. basketball, coaching, and also interacting with people, building relationships. And you kind of did that a little bit through a lot. You had a huge impact through Newsleys basketball, which is what we're talking about, faith and basketball, combining those two, using basketball as a platform to reach for Christ. Share with us, what was that experience for you? And I can talk all about it just because I know a lot about it, but sometimes a little bit more, when someone else talks about it, it puts a little bit more emphasis on this or that part. How was it for you? Explain to everyone what you thought about it, being a director, being a player, being a coach.
Man, I loved it. I'm looking at some of these comments now, and I'm seeing some of the guys that we went on tour with, and that's what it's about. Like, with COVID, everything happened. Thomas, I know he's on here. I know I've talked to him a good 3 times, but now, like, he's a brother for life. And so more than anything, I would say it's just about the relationships. I love my time over with NRB because it was so much fun. It just combined several things that we were able to do. We love to, like, the guys over there, we love to travel. We love to cut up. Like, we spent 90% of the time laughing and joking. And then you added, like, the faith element, because a lot of it, when you're here in the States, like, your faith is kind of up to you, and it can be very isolating sometimes, and everybody has different beliefs. But when we're there on the tour, it's like, it doesn't matter where everybody's at. It's like, this is, we're gonna talk about this together as a family. And it's just so cool because there's no judgment there. We're growing, we're learning together. Everyone's like on the same page. And then we get to go out and we get to play all these high level teams. And then I don't remember losing. Maybe once. I don't think this is my 3rd one. I think we lost once. The games are competitive, and then it's a different kind of playing. Like, I remember we were in Ireland one time, and the game, now you might remember, it was getting kind of crazy out there. It was getting real chippy. Mm-hmm. But even the way we responded to each other was different. If it was been in the States, it would have been a fight. But here, it was like, nah, we're going to do this the right way. Mm-hmm. And we still came out on top. And I think just doing, just with the faith and the playing wise, it's just such a good experience traveling, jumping on these trains, being late to stuff, and you just have all these memories. And then I feel like the camps are just the cherry on top, man. The camps are so much fun. I've never done a funner basketball camp than when I was with you guys. And just all the kids, all the energy, camper of the day. That's what I missed most this summer is we don't have a camper of the day. We don't have a camper
of the day. Hey,
yeah, man. So I miss it all. I miss going to the beer garden with all the people afterwards. And so, yeah, NRB is a great organization. I'm looking forward to working, as long as I can, as long as my knees are good, going, coaching, playing, whatever. And just, anybody who's on here, just get interested, find out how you can get yourself plugged in with the organization. And it just combines everything: faith, basketball, people, travel, the host families, everyone's just great. So.
Okay. So I guess that you're going to come back on tour?
Yeah, for sure. I ain't going nowhere.
You heard that first from here, from Coffee Around the Globe. Everyone watching, tell Rico, remind him, come around next year around this time. Rico, hey, man, you coming on tour? Which city are you going to?
I'm already there, man. I got a couple of alumni guys I'm trying to come back with me, man. So I'm trying to round up at least 15 more guys. So we're going.
Awesome. Well, I'll just wrap it up there, man. It was great to have you on here. Great to have you part of the camp this year. Even though we're not doing it physically, we're able to have a virtual camp. Having you on there as a coach is a big blessing. I know it is for the kids, for sure. Any last words you have for the maybe kids, campers? You said that was a big part of it, building relationships. Any last words for them to encourage them a little bit?
Yeah, I would just say, man, for them to continue to work hard. I know stuff is really difficult right now with COVID and the uncertainty. But just keep working on your skill. Like, don't stop dreaming. Whatever you do, don't ever stop your dreams. Like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, use this opportunity just to refine those things now. Continue to get better at what you're doing. And just know that, like, everybody has been on tour. Like, we really appreciate you guys having us there. We miss you guys a ton. Y'all make NRB what it is all the campers. I know we've been doing stuff online, and it's been a ton of fun, but we really miss you guys and being there. And hopefully next summer we'll be back. So just stay encouraged this year and keep working.
Amen. Amen. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, Rico. Well, thank you so much again, taking time out of your day being on this. Thank you for everyone that is watching, tuning in on this. If you want to know more information about basketball, about faith, reach us at newsleysbasketball.org on our website, or reach us through our social media platforms. If you have more questions or just want to say what's up to Rico, message him as well on Instagram and other places on social media. So, man, I appreciate you, Rico. And everyone, we'll catch you later. We'll see you on the next Coffee Around the Globe.
All right, see y'all.
Blessings. Bye.
Bye, y'all.